Before this video starts, I'd like to state that I am talking about a product owned by Disney. In order to avoid a potential copyright war, I've taken it upon myself to render my own images to use in this video. It's the kind of thing that an ordinary person probably won't even pick up on. But if you've got like an eye for graphic design or something, then keep your eyes peeled because you might notice a few subtle telltale signs that the images used in this video are not professionally made. Anyway, let's talk about the Avengers. Dun 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 dun. Dun dun dun. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, that's enough of that. Which Avenger is strongest? By the end of this video, you will know the answer. I'm going to be counting them down from weakest to strongest in a neat little list. Before we get started, there are a few things I should mention. First of all, I'm talking about the film version, the MCU versions of the Avengers, not the comics, because apparently they're quite different. We're talking only Avengers as well. There's no Guardians of the Galaxy in this list. They aren't Avengers. Black Panther's bald female sidekick, whatever her name is, isn't in this list because I couldn't find a way of drawing her that didn't come across as like super racist. And the last thing I want to do in this video is cause controversy. That's not what we're about here. Doctor Strange's fat Chinese mate won't be appearing also because he decided to go home and look after a building instead of fighting Thanos. There's no Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., no Nick Fury, no Iron Fist, none of that bollocks. We're talking proper Avengers, you know what I mean. Anyway, let's get started. Coming in at last place, surprising nobody, is Hawkeye. That guy with a bow who somehow wormed his way into the Avengers A-team because he's like really human or some bollocks like that. He has far above average fitness and fighting ability for a human, but he's still just an ordinary guy. And he lost the suicide competition to Black Widow in Endgame. Motherfucker can't even kill himself properly. Next up at number 15, we have that guy who went jogging with Captain America in the Winter Soldier and then showed up later in the movie revealing that he's like some kind of Birdman or something. Falcon gets an edge over Hawkeye because he can fly, he can drop bombs and shit, plus he's got like some kind of homing bird bomb or some shit. I don't know, he's a Birdman, that's his backstory. Also something to do with the military, who gives a shit, he's a total non-character. Up next at number 14 is the Avenger whose arse I would most like to put my face in. I am, of course, talking about Black Widow. She gets dibs over Hawkeye because she managed to kill herself faster than he did, and I can't help but feel that if she fought the Falcon, she would just shoot him in the face because she's practical. Up next at number 13, we have the Winter Soldier, aka Bucky. The guy who's basically Captain America, but without the shield, the ability to wield Mjolnir, or any fans or personality of any kind. Future co-star of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Some people might say it's taking two characters whose primary characteristics are the fact that they just happen to know one of the most popular Avengers, but have virtually no character development of their own, is an odd creative choice. But yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine. The MCU is not about to die. It'll be fine. The War Machine comes up in 12th place, slightly edging out the Winter Soldier because, he can just fly above him and mangle his body with bullets because he doesn't have any gimmicky shields to protect him. Honestly, I actually tried to find a way to put him higher on this list as he was a childhood favourite of mine due to the fact he's basically Iron Man but without the flamboyant colours, but there it is, number 12. I'm sorry, War Machine, I wish you were higher. In 11th place, we have Ant-Man, the guy who can shrink or enlarge his penis at will. And I guess like the rest of his body too, but who really gives a fuck? He does this using Pym particles. Also, maybe he can travel in time, but not completely, I don't know. It's a little bit vague. I was surprised how low I actually found Ant-Man on this list. I thought he was going to be higher up. Perhaps if he had done what a lot of the fans predicted he was going to do, and shrink himself and then climb inside Thanos' arsehole and then re-enlarge himself to bring down the Titan, he could have been higher. But he didn't do that. It was a massive shame. I feel like the movie would have been a lot better if that's how it had ended, and we would have still had Robert Downey Jr. So yeah, sorry, Paul Rudd, I love you, but at least you're still Phoebe's boyfriend in Friends. Coming up next, we have the Black Panther, the magical herb-powered, vibranium-covered ticket to Marvel's claim to diversity. I honestly don't see how anyone lower than him on this list could even do any damage to him at all, short of Ant-Man finding a way to climb into his arsehole and then enlarge himself, as we talked about earlier, but, you know, whether he can do that or not is pure speculation. The Black Panther has superhuman strength, speed, reactions, etc. Plus, if you punch him, it will not only not damage him because of his vibranium armor, but he'll absorb the impact and throw it right back at you. There is, however, clearly a limit to what he can do this with, because he gets decked in the schnoz by Thanos in Infinity War and goes down like a bitch. Next up on the list, coming in surprisingly early, we have the Spider-Man himself at 9th place. He casually catches the Winter Soldier's punch in the airport fight, deals with Ant-Man. He's actually the one to end him using his Empire Strikes Back tactics, and he can fire spunk out of his hands. So that's possibly, like, you know, the best power anyone could ever have. And also, he's got the best arse in the MCU if you don't count Black Widow. I can't believe I'm saying this. Coming up after Spidey, we have Vision, the guy from that Avengers film we like to pretend that didn't happen because it was shit. He's capable of fighting the villain's main body from that particular film, which we're not talking about. And then afterwards, he gets inexplicably beat down by everyone else he faces ever again. Make of that what you will. But yeah, he is mad strong. He can fly. He can shoot the lasers. He can wield Mjolnir, but he never does. And he's like just incredibly boring. Coming in at 7th place, we have the Hulk, capable of briefly matching an unarmed Thanos, but not getting his own film for some reason, even though I reckon people will probably watch it. Also, he suddenly becomes a genius off-screen by merging with Bruce Banner or something. I don't know. Maybe that will get explained at some point. Who cares? The Hulk does briefly wield the power of all 6 Infinity Stones when he uses Iron Man's Infinity Gauntlet. So if you want to place him at number 1, I guess you could. But I think it would feel kind of cheap. So, yeah, you know. But either way, big green fighting man. Up in 6th place, we've got Captain America, the walking Boy Scout / flag, who inexplicably has better films than Iron Man. I honestly have no idea how the fuck that happened. When Captain America wields Mjolnir, he holds his own against Thanos for quite a while and even manages to smack him right in his testicle chin thing. And that's why I've got Captain America so high on this list. I'm talking about the Avengers at their absolute strongest. Probably should have mentioned that before now. The MCU's poster boy comes in at number 5, Iron Man himself, the lovable arsehole weapons manufacturer Titan Slayer. Just like Hulk, you could count him as number 1 because he does wield all 6 Infinity Stones at some point, but it feels like a cheap cop-out. He's as high as he is on this list due to the fact that he has so many Iron Man suits at his disposal, including the Hulkbuster suit, the nanotech suit, and the various other ones I'm sure you've seen in the previous films. In Iron Man 3, he has like, I don't know, 50 of them or something. Mad shit. Robert Downey Jr. was the heart of the MCU. But you know, I'm sure it'll be fine in his absence. It'll be fine. The MCU's not about to die. It'll be fine. In at number 4, we have Captain Marvel, capable of fighting toe-to-toe with Thanos, destroying a starship and making the entire fandom question whether or not they want to keep watching these films. Into the top 3 now, and we've got the Scarlet Witch. She completely manhandles Thanos in Endgame, which is why she's placed so high. If only she had as much personality as she does power. Some people might say it's an odd creative choice to take nobody's favourite Avenger and Vision and give them their own show, but nah, I'm sure it'll be fine. After all, Vision's played by the world's most charismatic actor, Jeremy Irons. Okay, number 2, and I know this might be controversial, but we've got Thor. Why Thor? I can't do the Thor. Why is Thor up so high? Well, because we're talking about characters at their absolute strongest. In Infinity War, Thor overpowers Thanos when he's using all 6 Infinity Stones. The writers of the film say that they caught him by surprise, but if you watch the film or look at my illustration, you'll see that Thanos fires at Thor with the power of all 6 Infinity Stones before he manages to break through with Stormbreaker and land a near-lethal blow. Look at it. It's like an LGBT Kamehameha. Don't give me this nonsense that he was caught by surprise. Fuck you. In at number 1, we have Doctor Strange. Yes, I know, I'm annoyed too. Boring character, but when Doctor Strange uses the Time Stone properly, he's basically invincible. There's nothing to stop him from trapping you in a time loop, aside from the fact that you're Thanos and have plot armor stopping Doctor Strange using the Time Stone for some reason. Also, you've got to factor in that he can look through time. The reason Thanos lost in Endgame is basically Strange looked through time and found the one possibility where he could beat him. And if he can always do this and pick the right path, then he's basically invincible, even more than he already was when he could trap you in the time loop. So yeah, congratulations, Benedict Cumberbatch. I still don't like you. So there we have it, the world's most conclusive list of which Avenger is the strongest. If you disagree with it, you must just be wrong, I guess. Leave a like, and if you subscribe, I'll watch you through your bedroom window while you're sleeping. And if it looks like you're having a bad dream, I'll break into your house and stroke your hair until you calm down. Bye-bye.